up, guys? It's Adam from esportsheaven.com, and I'm here with Mr. Street Fighter, Cali Power, the man himself who's in charge of Wednesday night fights and Level Up. Alex Valle, how you doing today, man?
Doing fantastic, man. Haven't been in New York in a while, so I'm looking to have some good time.
Yeah, well, I mean, you used to come over here quite often. I remember ECCs and stuff like that. When was the last time you were on the East Coast?
For Spring Fighter, a few years back. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's when like Ultra was relatively new, and I was a guest speaker in that event.
Yeah. You did a panel, I think it was with Seth Killian, right? About like just your history in general, right?
Yeah. I think before me was Daigo, and then after me was Choi, and then Ricky. So it's an awesome event.
Yeah, it sounds like an awesome event. So obviously we're here at ESL One New York 2016, Brooklyn Beatdown. I'm sure you entered the tournament. Tell us a little bit about that. Walk us through your matches.
Okay, so I was in Pool 1, which had Infiltration in it, and it had OG Little Evil, and it was pretty much me versus Infiltration in winners finals, and I got beat up. Yeah, I mean, he's the best in the world, and I think I played the match pretty bad. I think I could have done better, but I mean, it's still a big mountain to climb. Right. So he knocked me into losers, and then I qualified out of my pool to make it into top 32 losers. From there, I played Ricky Ortiz. And it was really close. It sucks that we had to play. We're both from the West Coast. And she took me out. It was 2-1, really close. And I think that was the time that I was warming up. And I could have done better throughout the rest of the tournament, but somebody has to lose.
Right. So are you kind of disappointed, or are you okay with what happened here today?
I didn't practice as much as I should have because I'm still setting up a lot of events, right? SCR is on the way. Not using that as an excuse, but, I mean, the results speak for itself. Like, Infiltration's match should have been closer if I practiced more, right? So in order to beat somebody like that, I got to be on my game. And hopefully after all my events are done, I can start playing and put on a good show.
Right, because your focus has always been on the community development and your level up side, not necessarily competing. So what is it to you? Is it like 75 community stuff and 25 like competition, or how do you kind of balance it in your eyes?
It's at least around this time, it's been 70 production, 30 playing. Right. Yeah, like I mean, I haven't played for a week, so I had to warm up last night, get a few matches today, and that's not enough. Like you're playing world-class players, and you got to give them the respect that these guys are playing every day. They're grinding, they're finding new tech. So the only way for me to like catch up, it would be kind of embarrassing if I were to beat them knowing I only played one day. Right. But of course it didn't happen that way, and these guys showed up and kicked my ass. Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of just what happens, right? So there's a little bit of controversy with SCR this year because certain games were announcing the initial lineup, and then there was some community talk, some back and forth, and eventually a compromise was kind of reached. Were you kind of shocked by the community outrage in some ways, or were you kind of expecting it? And how did you think the right approach was in order to, I guess, appease them, or whatever word you want to use?
It was very expected because the Marvel community is one of the most vocal communities, right? Everybody thought after EVO, since they're not really getting any support, that their games kind of settle down a bit. And it's like the events after EVO don't get as much traction as the events before it. And Marvel happened to be a game that, all right, guys, why don't you take a break, and same with Killer Instinct. Killer Instinct, we didn't really have a lot of presence even when we had a cash bonus last year. So we're like, all right, guys, EVO's done. You guys had your big thing. Let's try to focus on Street Fighter V and MKX, which has a new games that have new updates, right? That have massive support, and we have a bigger problem now because these games are pulling in bigger more people, and we're limited in space this time. So I heard their voices. And, it is a challenge still to try to fit everything and appease everyone, but we made it happen. And we came to a compromise of having them on Friday night. So in order to fit them in, and we can give them a solid top 8 schedule for the games too. So, yeah, and they're really happy with it. And I'm really glad we were to come to a resolve. But, I mean, it's the challenge of being a TO. You have to find out what the trends are. Hey, they don't like it. You know what? Let's see how we can make it work. I think the community this time around, when they approach things they don't like, be proactive and have constructive criticism. Besides having a pitchfork and saying like it's the worst event ever, or like these guys don't care about us, like that's not the right way. It's like, all right, hey Alex, I know you don't have us in your game, in your lineup. Let me know what I can do to make it happen. I'm like, okay, this is my problem. Can you guys work on this day? You know, and then like, okay, yeah, that works. And I talked to the community. I had a lot of back and forth behind the scenes to, you know, work this out. And I'm not an unreasonable guy. I love fighting games. You know, it's just help me help you. This kind of situation.
I like that a lot. Help me help you. So back at Evolution 2015, now that you brought up Esports Arena, at the time Wednesday Night Fights was online. You didn't really tell me what was going on, but you said there was some, you know, you had some plans basically, and it was the Esports Arena. But at the time, you also said that you kind of believed that online was the future for fighting games. Yep. So, in your opinion, like, how do you balance that with having a really, really good online tournament series that's consistent, but also providing a live venue for all those local players to come out?
You got to have it, man. Capcom Pro Tour is a circuit. It's the biggest circuit in the world for fighting games. You need that platform. You need a platform where it conquers the barrier to entry, right? Like most of the players nowadays, their first match, their first opponent is online, right? Not everybody has a great local scene, okay? And so we have to respect the fact that they don't know better. They don't know what a bad connection is. It's just normal to them. Right? So some of these guys started in Street Fighter 5, and then when they play in the offline scene, they're like, oh wow, you know, this is actually better, and that's what we hope for. Like, get them out of the house, but you know, we gotta use online to like get them to play, because it's not, we don't have arcades to do that anymore, right? Not everybody has a LAN center, local scene, like I mentioned. So it's definitely the future. It's been, you know, it's been around, but it hasn't really been structured, and I've been working really hard to make that happen. And I landed an awesome opportunity with Capcom to do the Capcom Pro Tour online. And I've also been working with the Red Bull guys to do their online series. So, I mean, all these things are coming into fruition. People are getting flown out to events because winning online tournaments, right? So they're getting an extended opportunity to get more points in the Capcom Pro Tour, fly to it. Like this, for instance, this event, Wolf Crone qualified for not only the ESL event, but the Rebel event, right? To participate. And I mean, what else do you want, right? Yeah, you know, like say, if that's not the future and you can sit at your home, it's free entry to be a part of this. Like, tell me where I'm going wrong.
I completely hear you. You know, and it's funny you mentioned that because we're at the Barclays Center, and then at EVO, we're at the Mandalay Bay Center. You're an OG, man. You've been here since the beginning. What's it like for you to see this, and it's just like, are we really here? How do you feel about it? Is it kind of like something that this is what you always wanted, or is this more than what you've always wanted?
This is a great start, man. I wouldn't have pictured this back when in my heydays. It's like, you don't see stadiums. You don't think stadiums. You think like, okay, a bigger arcade to play at, or a bigger ballroom to play at, right? But you don't think a stadium. And now that we're here and we're doing it, like, you gotta be humble about it, because now that we have it, what are we gonna do with it? It's up to us, right? It's really up to the community to like, hey, we're here. How do we make it better together? And that's the next challenge. And hats off to everybody here at ESL. Capcom, all the TLs making things happen in the community to put us all like together to, find out what the next challenge is and overcome it.
So going off of that too, you said that there's a lot of things that we need to grow on. Do you see any particular issues that you feel like the entire fighting game community has to work on, that you see like, okay, this is the logical next step?
Man, that is a loaded question. I think the biggest thing that comes to mind is if you've been in the scene for a while, just don't be jaded about like, hey, there's big cash prizes, and don't expect that all the time, because you gotta also consider the little guys trying to come up, and they can't put big cash prizes on these tournaments. But if you don't support them, you don't support the beginners, right? The amateurs or the intermediates, right? Because that's how they start out. And if you only support the big events, there's a problem with everybody trying to start up. And that's like the issue ongoing with many esports titles, right? Like everybody's thinking, oh man, the publishers involved, they're just throwing big cash prizes, or big peripheral companies involved, so let's only go there. Your event sucks. It's just there's no money, there's no top players. You can't think that way. You got to think about, hey, there's an awesome event in your backyard. It takes you 10, 15, 20 minutes to go there, say hi. You don't even have to enter. That's support. You know what I'm saying? Just chill, hang out, tell everybody you had a good time, and that's how you spread that. And the more that we work on that, the bigger all these things are going to be.
Okay. I definitely agree with that. It's definitely, I think growing the amateur scene, that feeds into the pro scene is so important. And you're right in terms of other esports really having trouble with that. But going along with that, so let's say we do that, and in Alex Valle's dream world, okay, what is the fighting game community at? Where is Street Fighter at? Are we like filling out entire like football stadiums? Where in your dream world, where would you like to see us?
We're the World Cup. World Cup. I mean, every country has a regional final. It should be in a stadium. Every country. Capcom Cup should be in the biggest stadium of all, right? And we all have like major teams to back it out. Like it's going on right now here, Counter-Strike. Like you see flags all around of all the pro teams, right? That can happen, you know, and we're heading in that direction. You know, not as fast as we'd like, but you know that is the nature of the beast, right? And I think when we get there, maybe if it's not in my time, when we get there, we can look back and go, hey, you know what? I'm glad I went to my first event. Right. And that first event is everything.
I completely agree. Going off of what you were saying a little bit before about having this new mentality, especially as an OG player who wasn't used to balance patches, do you kind of get upset when you hear like players just like, oh, this needs to be balance patched immediately? Do you feel like it's almost like they're, I don't know if ungrateful is the right word, but does it upset you?
I come from a time where there wasn't really any balance patches or updates, so I'm very biased when it comes to that because it's just tough love, right? You play the game that's presented to you. There's something messed up with the game, and we have to use it as a strategy, right? Now there's a luxury of getting updates, and you know, players don't know. They really don't know what's good or bad yet. They have to let the game kind of play itself out for a good like year, you know, and because yeah, I can go on for this too, a long time for this too. But just believe me, V, these challenges and these OP characters, they're gonna develop you into not making mistakes. Like they're gonna make you play better, right? And then, you know, after the year pass, if they're still messed up, then obviously there is gonna be some balances. But you gotta wait, like the Capcom approach, waiting for a year until next Capcom Cup. I think that's the appropriate way to approach it. And just have patience, you know, like you're not automatically a top player to figure out like, hey, this is broken. You don't know that. Like I don't know that. Nobody knew Rashid was even that good, right? And then we saw John Takeuchi take his ranking event in Puerto Rico, right, versus a Chun Li. So you never know what you're gonna get.
Right. I completely agree. Now another person, one of your rivals here is Daigo, but you guys have kind of gone down different paths here. This is someone that you played in the Street Fighter Alpha Finals. Everyone knows about it. It was on, like, it's a legendary thing, but you guys have gone on such different paths. Do you think that that's just kind of how it goes sometimes? Daigo chose, I want to focus on competition, you want to focus on community development. Like, why do you think that something like that would happen? You know, you guys were facing each other at the very top of Street Fighter Alpha. Is that just how it goes?
Yeah, because, you know, I've been holding on to the torch for a long time, right? And just you know, Justin Wong took it because like he's the most dominant Street Fighter player in the U.S. And he's been doing that and he's still doing it, right? I think when I started Level Up with my partners, that was a much needed avenue to grow the scene. It was an opportunity. Like who I am as a person, what my trade skills are, and how I can develop the scene. And who says I can't play with them, right? So I can have the best of both worlds. Yeah, I'm not, at the level where I should have been chasing Daigo and stuff like that. I let that go because that's the beauty of gaming. You can always come back at any age. I mean, I'm in my late 30s right now, but I made top 32 versus like, young bucks. And if I can still do it and I can still rock it with these guys, it's a bright future for everybody.
I know last time we talked, you kind of said you've done everything, so you don't feel like you need to prove anything else. But do you ever get that itch where you're just like, maybe I should just drop the production, like go all in? Do you still get it or no?
Not really. It's nice here and there, but like I've already reached to a point where like everybody knows me. Like they understand. Like I had my time and I produced great results. And today, I mean, it would be awesome for me to like place first here and there, but I think there's just phenomenal talent these days, and it's better that we see more talent come to the plate because that's growth. Because if we still see the same group of guys taking over like top eight, we had a guy from Brazil take out Infiltration, right? So we need that. We need people to kick our ass to play better. So.
I completely agree. It's kind of nice to see like what these fighting games do in terms of there's a lot more upsets than maybe you might see in other esports. And as I think that with Level Up, you've interacted a lot with other esports companies, right? And we're here now. This is an ESL event. This is their first foray into Street Fighter. How do you feel like are you happy that there are so many more esports opportunities? Do you think that the fighting game community should welcome it even more so because there are those people who are a bit more nervous about it? In general, like how you feeling on that front?
Yeah, well, it's esports is already here. It's not esports is coming anymore. And if you see the guys behind the scenes, esports, the owners of these organizations, they hire us to do the events. They hire like the guys working their asses off here at ESL. They run like next level events. They do a lot of the East Coast events. They're the guys that we play with, right? And it's a bit more structured. There's guidelines and there's stuff that's necessary for progression. And yeah, of course we should embrace it. It doesn't always have to be like, rated G. It can have some, it can have some edge. We're the fighting game community. It's just we're the ones creating it. Like the Ultra David and James Chen. I mean, they're still their same personas, right? And the community looks at it as like, okay, cool. It's one of ours doing it. So anybody that still holds like this, esports is just too straight edge for me, or just loses the hype and stuff. I'm like, well, give us some suggestions. Give us some suggestions. Come out to the events, and say, hey, what could we do or the esports organizations do to make it better, instead of just sit at home, bitch and whine. I'm telling you.
I hear you on that one. So as you were talking about before, some people claimed about SCR, but one thing about SCR is that you've kind of been increasing it. Last year you had SCR Prelude, and then you had SCR. Is there a goal to have multiple SCRs a year, or multiple, I guess, tournaments held by Level Up? Where's like your goals and your game plan with that?
Well, last year the reason why we had Prelude events is because we had to push SCR days back, and there was a long time of like. There's a lot of action lost before EVO. So I had a Prelude event in May, I believe. No. I had it in June, the first one. And then the other one was in, I would say it's August. And we were testing the waters of if we can run like a monthly, because we never ran a monthly before. And as a result, we created the Vanguard events that are the monthly Street Fighter V events as part of the Red Bull Proving Grounds event. So, and so there's no really an extension to SCR events. We just want to have that as a standalone. That's like the big event of the year that SoCal should always look forward to. It's a premier event, right? Like we don't want to, I guess, like either water it down. We have Wednesday night fights. We have like weekly events. We have weekly events. We got the monthlies, but that's centric to Street Fighter. And then we have SCR, which is like the games that the popular games that people play today. So.
So as I said before, you have a lot of plans, but not all plans kind of go how you want them to. I'm sure there's a lot of deals that you had maybe like about to be sealed, and unfortunately they didn't work out. For you, being this leader in the community, what drives you? Like when you hit those dark days, and you're just like, maybe I should just stop all this. What keeps you motivated? Is it just the community, or is it something else that you remember that, like, you know what, I need to keep on going?
At the end of the day, brother, I just want to play video games. And if there is a way to create opportunities off of it, it's not just like, oh, I want to make money playing video games. I want to create opportunities. Not all opportunities are cash in hand. Opportunities are like, they can throw in, like, if you find a partner that can throw out like some game codes to give to some people that wanted to try the game, and now they're playing the game and they love the game, and then they're getting their friends to play it. You just made a community, right? Somebody won a headset off of you, or like, if you're able to collaborate events and help make it bigger, opportunities. Because these things will come around. They'll come around back to you, and like, once they grow, you grow, right? And that, I mean, that can make you money, right? But that's like the most terrible word to use in this. Like, oh, that guy used the word money. Look, I'm telling you, like, wouldn't you want the guys that are providing the entertainment, the international players, like just the big spectacle, like constantly for you, like you pay what, $14 to go see a 2-hour movie. You have like 12 plus hours of stream footage of top players, and you like even giving them $2 donation, $1 just for like, hey, you know what, you guys kicked ass today. Out of all the viewers in there, like, you know what, this guy deserves 50 cents, $1. That adds up. And we create those opportunities, and that's how I'm able to sustain, because it's not all about making money. It's about making connections to sustain. And then, yeah, of course, it leads to money, but it's gotta money pays for the stuff, so it can run, and can give you that entertainment. So,
I mean, well said. Well said. That's all I could really say about that. I'm sure that's going to become like a soundbite, the famous Alex Valle speech or something like that. But I don't have anything else to say. Are there any shout-outs you want to give, words you want to say to your fans? How can your fans follow you and level up?
Just, man, it's time for you guys to come out to events. I want to see you guys, all your beautiful faces. I've met so many new players that just like, oh, hey, this is my first event. I shake their hand. I'm like, thank you. What's your name? Where are you from? I get this info because I want to know what's happening, right? If you want to watch weekly events, we still do them. Wednesday night fights, our Vanguard events for Street Fighter V centric, SCRs in a couple weeks. So if you want to follow all this stuff, it's on twitch.tv/leveluplive. If you want to follow all the updates to this stuff, social media, follow me on Twitter, the Alex Valle.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned to esportsheaven.com for more coverage of ESL One New York 2016. We'll see you guys.